Hey, what's up, guys? It's Source Gaming here, and I'm Pack. I'm here with Gabe, Melina, and we're gonna be going over the ban list. But before we do that, just huge shout outs to the team, Source Gaming, as you guys may know. Don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon. It's currently only $1 for the first month, and also follow us on our socials in the description box below. But yo, Gabe, you excited for the ban list reaction, bro?
Yeah, really excited to
It's
see
crazy,
what
right?
this team. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
So let's get right into it. But we are doing a bunch of giveaways right now that are currently ongoing. So don't forget to be a part of that. You can check that out in the description box below for on our Twitter. But um, the thing that we want to talk about is the ban list, and so we'll jump right into it, which is the forbidden side. So we see that Curious and Mystic Mind got banned. It's been kind of long overdue for Mystic Mind, I think. And Curious is kind of crazy with like the Dark World cards and like the Danger cards that are being played in the Dark World deck. That's I think legal next week, so it kind of makes sense. But I mean, what are your thoughts, Gabe? Anything?
yeah, Missing Mind definitely had to go. The OCG banned it too. It promotes not being able to play the game, so it definitely had to go.
Yeah.
And Curious, I feel like was a little random, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess there's something coming out that's gonna make it good.
Yep.
It's definitely like a not healthy card as well in combo decks. Like sending anything to the grave isn't good. Like Laval Chain got banned for that reason.
Yeah. I think like overall like I know these are the cards that got hit on the ban list, but what are some cards I feel like that didn't get hit that we probably should talk about, right? Like there's cards like Instant Fusion, Abyss
Yeah,
Dweller,
yeah. Number
like
one, two, and three
yeah,
is Instant Fusion, Dweller, and Dimensional Shifter.
Dimensional Shifter, yeah.
Uh, yeah, but I feel like them not hitting Shifter, it was just like almost a way of like still giving every other deck a chance
A chance, yeah.
against against the tier deck right now.
Yep.
Um, yeah, with the other cards that takes us to the limited list.
Yeah. Let's do that. So we have Orange Light going to one. Bro, this is kind of wild because I feel like this is actually like a fair hit. Funny enough, because Orange Light is what allows it promotes a lot of interactivity, like from the tier deck perspective into like any other deck in the meta, right?
Yeah,
Like this card is just unfair.
yeah.
So like
Yeah, and then again, I feel like it was just another one of those like we're gonna give every other deck like a fair chance against tier elements.
yeah,
Like we're gonna let tier elements be the best deck, but we're gonna let every other chance be or every other deck be able to beat it.
yeah, yep, exactly,
But I'm not like the biggest fan of Herald the One. I didn't really care that much,
yep,
but I can see why it would be good. Like if you
yeah.
don't like hand trap, monster negation, and destruction is just like too good.
It's too good. And like I think the other thing about Orange Light too is that like even in the OCG, this card also went to one. And the reason why Orange Light was so crazy in OCG format that's not as relevant for us is that it stopped Max C. It was a card that like your
Yeah,
opponent Max C's you Orange Light negate it. I mean for us it's like we if they shifted us, we Orange Light negate it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
yeah.
ridiculous. Like
Or
so
like a bestial,
or
like
like a
you want
Bistio,
to herald
yeah.
light a bestial. But
So
I don't know, like I don't think this card was that huge of a thing, to be
hmm
honest. Like
it
half
made
of
your
our
rogue
decks
matchups
already don't
easier.
run herald. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely made the rogue matchups easier.
Yep.
And that's what I feel like this whole ban list is about. Like they're trying to promote like giving every other deck a chance against the tier limit deck.
Mm-hmm. No,
Because I
totally agree.
honestly I don't even think the tier limit deck's that unfair. Like
Yeah.
it does good stuff,
Yep.
but like I think any other deck can beat it, especially with like it revolves around its graveyard. There's all kinds of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that stop that.
Yep.
But
Totally.
yeah, regardless, Herald's like solid hit, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the biggest.
All right. In the semi-limited list, we have Lyrilless Recital Starling. So this is a cool one. Shout to Kamal. He what a remote
Yeah.
watch this with a bunch of
And shout
these in
out
his
to the
deck.
Bird Master.
Yeah, a bunch of these in his extra deck. But I mean, this card is a cool one because I do think it does give the Lyrilless strategy like a chance to compete because the Lyrilless Tri Brigade deck doesn't have any lights or darks in the graveyard. So when the tier element deck main decks a bunch of Bystials, like this deck inherently has
Yeah.
a favored matchup against it because it has a bunch of dead cards. And not only that, like the engine itself searches like DD crows. Like that's like absolutely
Yeah.
like insane. So
Yeah, exactly. This deck definitely has like a lot of cool ways to handle the tier element cards.
yep,
Search and DD Crow is definitely one of them. I mean, there's a way probably for you to search too.
yeah.
And then Utopic,
The Utopic
what
Future,
was the
Utopic
Utopic
Future.
Future is
Yep.
also like solid against the tier element deck.
Yeah, because it can
Um,
negate and then like snatch steal one of your opponent's cards. Like it's kind of
yep.
nice.
And that was like one of the like best parts about that deck. You know, you can just use double recital. Now you can go like double recital, search a combo piece, search DD Crow, make Utopic Future,
Yep.
and you just have some stuff for that.
Like you have a bunch of like just like it's crazy because like just a few like a 2 card combo gets you like so much card advantage and a bunch of interruptions.
Hmm.
So
And then the second one of recitals what makes this deck playable.
yep.
You know, because like the second one lets you search the DD Crow into another trap, so it goes into
Yeah.
two traps.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah, so this card is just a healthy hit. I don't think it should be at one anymore. So I think this was a good card to semi limit.
Yeah. And we'll see in the unlimited side, like following up that same discussion, like Tenki went to 3, which like supports the strategy that we were talking about because like Fractal is
Yeah,
like one of the best cards for that combo piece. You know, be able to dump like not only a Lyrilless card but also a Tri Brigade card, so it like bridges the two archetypes together really nicely. So we have basically have this deck almost full power. Some people
yeah,
played Recital starting at 3, but most people played at 2.
yeah.
So yeah, we
I
have that deck.
also played it at two.
Exactly. So we have this deck pretty much full of power now. So I do think that if you are interested in looking at that deck list, we might cover that in the future for you guys. So just let
Yeah,
us know if you want to see like a mock-up list of the Lyrilless Tri Brigade strategy and how it competes with the Tier Element deck. But then we got to talk about some of the fun stuff they put on
yeah,
the
yeah.
fun
This
stuff
is
they put the
actually the
three.
best part about the list.
Yeah, we got Dimensional Fissure, Macrocosmos, to 3, right? So like the floodgates of the format.
Yep.
And I think this is aligned to what you were kind of saying before, right? That like they kind of did this because all the rogue strategies that wanted to have a chance now had a better win condition when it went first against the tailman deck. Because right now, if you a tier deck going second against any rogue deck will like murder you. Like one Harvest murders you. Like Die Fi
Yeah,
stops
like
that, you know. So
the only like non rogue decks that's still rogue that competes with this deck or with the tier deck right now is just Flunderies, like
yep,
because it has the multiple floodgates and it's the only deck that really can play, you know, because they don't need their grave because of shifter.
yep,
But like I feel like this unlimited list is really like the big picture where Konami wants to go with the list. Like
yep,
they gave us a rank 4 that gives us access to cards like Pleiades, Infinity, and Diamond.
diamond, yeah,
Which are yeah, and they're all very good against tier elements, and it's
yep,
super generic. Any deck can make this card.
yep,
Defissure and Macro, same thing,
yep,
super generic, and it like it's close to an auto win against tier elements
yep,
and generic cards. And then even Metaverse, after hit Mystic
mine,
Mine, Metaversing into Necro Valley is like pretty solid, and
yeah,
for like tier elements, like
yeah,
it's good for like all the rogue decks that just want to compete. They play
yeah,
floodgates too.
yeah,
And then yeah, Tenki as well.
yep,
The bird deck,
yeah. I
being able
think
to do the
like
combos.
now we're gonna see like the Exorcister deck be played more because the thing is Dimensional Fissure is definitely a card that will help rogue decks, but you have to think about what rogue decks can even utilize these cards in the first place, right? Like there's a lot of rogue decks that can't function under Dimensional Fissure, but like we can see stuff like the Labyrinth deck that can work under Fissure, because like
Mm-hmm.
as long as their trap cards go to the graveyard, it doesn't matter. Like
Super Runic.
yeah, the Runic deck, like where that could also work under Fissure, so it's definitely like crazy because I think Runic is probably the best example. That card is actually crazy. Oh my god, that might be the goo actually. Like
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
first with
Runic with
Fissure.
fissures.
With yeah,
Yeah, it's game.
yeah. Like it's like yeah, all your spells goes to the graveyard, so you draw infinite. They don't get their shufflers in the graveyard. Like they have to like normal it, which is like so neg, and like they can't really play.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
and I
wild.
think I think I think Fissure is like better than Macro for that reason. Like you can
Yep.
play it in more of the rogue decks, and not only that, Macro can get negated by Rukalos.
Yeah, can you get better
So
Cabos?
so
So.
yeah, so Macro is like not the greatest going second.
Mhm.
Um, I mean neither one is, but I think Fissure would probably be better.
Yep. I
Yeah.
I think the other thing I want to talk about was something you just hovered over, which was like the Plotomias, which is crazy because you were mentioning how like Agido actually turbos out this card actually a lot easier because
Hmm.
like Jesse is also a big fan of this, but like he plays like 3 Agido, and what he does is like he starts his turn off with like let's say a Keldo pitch like a Kelbeck. You add a Agido, you mill both players, and usually what comes out of that exchange is that it becomes like a net neutral, but you usually goes up and you actually go up in card advantage out of the interaction because you get to trigger a Guido, even though the graveyard will just interact with each other because of the shufflers. Like in
Hmm.
the mirror match, like you should be able to trigger the Guido and come out of the interaction like on top, and the Guido summoning back a body is already 2/3 of the components for Plonomias, right? Like, so that's kind of like
Yeah.
crazy now. So I do think this card has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and not only that, with Keldo, it's just the whole thing. Like
Yeah,
Keldo discard a Miller is literally a Platama Maze.
yeah,
I think this card made the Sanctuary, the Shizu engine, way better. I think
yep.
this engine makes it way better.
Hmm.
And then I also think it makes it worse too. Like at the same time, because if someone summons it on me,
Yeah,
it's gonna make my deck worse. But yeah, the Guido's going to be a lot stronger that format than it is now because
yep,
right now there's no reason to have 3 level 4s on the field.
yep, yep,
But
yep,
now there will be.
yep. Not for sure. So, I think that's pretty much our balanced thoughts so far. Let us know what deck you want to see us cook up as a result of the upcoming ban list. I think like another tech we'll talk about before we like end the video is also orange. It's not orange. I'm sorry. Herald of Greenlight. It's a card I was like talking about with Hani, where I think could be like really good because if everyone's playing cards like Dimensional Fissure and like all the rogue decks plays like power spells, so you have like Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Duality, Pot of like Prosperity. You have like Pax, which is like the Rhoda for the Exorcister engine. Like every rogue strategy has some like broken spell that they utilize. So like Orange of Greenlight, I'm sorry, not Orange of Greenlight, but like Greenlight is always live, and if you can Greenlight hit a mill 5 on your opponent's turn before they resolve like a fissure or resolve their like shifter esque effect, then like you actually get a chance to just kill them on the, like just make the full board on their turn. And I think like that's kind of like the reason why the tier deck is so good is because like it can establish a board on your opponent's turn, like turn 0. So like I want to play more
Yeah,
cards that lets me do that, and I think Green Light is one of those cards. Purple Light is obviously not as good because they have to like set a card, pass back to you, then activate the trap card on your turn. But the whole point is like I want to play on your turn. So like Green Light might be the goo, to be honest. Yeah.
yeah. And another reason why the fairy discard is so broken is to trigger all the achievements on your opponent's turns.
Hmm.
Like negating a monster and destroying it is good and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But what makes that card over the top is putting a graveyard effect in the grave afterwards
Yep.
and then starting a play on your opponent's turn and like
Yeah.
making a board.
Like starting a full board, like like that.
Yeah,
That's
like
like the
you
wild
really,
part. Yeah.
yeah, you just go. It's like their turn, and I have like a Muddy Dragon, a Kit, Kaleido
Yep.
Heart, and I just
And
search
then
the trap.
yeah,
Like,
you can yes yeah you can actually search Heartbeat on their turn if you know they're playing like a floodgate deck, right? Because
yeah,
then
a
then
floodgate
then
deck.
you start your turn off with Heartbeat and you Heartbeat their Necro Valley and then you like kill them through it.
Yep,
Like it's wild.
yep, just like that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, don't forget to check us out on all our socials, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.